Welcome to another edition of Cadet Chat with Dr. K. Super excited to have some very special guests today from the high school. To my left, we have Owen Hunzinger, who's a 9th grader, and to my far left, Luke Pisani, a 12th grader, and we're going to discuss another great event here at Hilton High School, and that's the Evening of Jazz. So, Owen, I'm going to start out with you. Welcome. How did you first become interested in the jazz band?
Ever since middle school in 8th grade, the band teacher there, Mr. Weber, he invited me to join his program. He thought that I would be a good fit for it. Tried out, got in, and then the first Evening of Jazz performance we had, I saw the high school jazz band. I think their favorite song that I played was the Jody Grind, and I was just so inspired, so the rest of the year I just practiced a lot and made it my best to try to get into the high school jazz ensemble.
That's awesome. Great. Now, what instrument do you play?
The tenor saxophone.
All right. Do you play any other instruments?
I play a little bit of keyboard and a little bit of percussion. Not much, though.
All right. Great. Well, that's a lot more instruments than I play, and that's super awesome. You know, so I think about how skilled you are as a musician to be able to play across different instruments. I think that's pretty great. And I know there are quite a few musicians here at the high school that do that as well. So just important for all our viewers to know. And we have Luke Pisani. Luke, now you're at a different point in your career. You're getting ready to go out into the world outside of Hilton Central School District. So tell us a little bit about how you became interested in the jazz band and how you decided to be a part of it.
Well, I've been playing classical piano since I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I've just been listening to jazz like my whole life. My dad grew up with a lot of Frank Sinatra, so I would just like grow up listening to it in the car and stuff, and so eventually I started to get interested in wanting to play more, so I started taking some lessons in around like 8th grade. Did Eastman's Summer Jazz Institute, and where I met my current teacher, Professor Tarafanko from Eastman, and I just got hooked from that. And I reached out to Mr. Strife when I was coming back to Hilton, and I've been in the band for all 4 years and just loved it. So,
awesome. Yeah. And now you play multiple instruments as well, correct?
Yes, yeah.
And what do you play?
Just piano and violin.
All right.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny when you say just.
Yeah.
You know, but great. That is so cool. I know when I came to the district roughly 8 years ago, one of the first events I attended was the Evening of Jazz. Yeah. And I was totally blown away, not only by the talent of the students, but I really am impressed as an educator with Mr. Strife and the music department and how they have the master lessons and how the visiting artists work with our students prior to the show. I think that is such a cool thing to have happen. And so tell us a little bit about, I'll go back to Owen. Owen, what's some of your favorite jazz music that you listen to when you're not playing it?
Yeah, I like a lot of funk, like especially since like the first songs that I played were a lot of funk pieces, like a lot of Stevie Wonder and all that. That's basically it. I haven't really gone that far into the jazz world yet.
I'm sure you will, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Luke, how about you? Who's one of your favorite jazz musicians?
I would say my top 3 pianists right now, sorry, this is a little music nerdy, but Wynton Kelly, Oscar Peterson, Bill Evans. Currently I've been listening to a lot of Jacob Collier, Snarky Puppy, Emmett Cohen. So yeah, just I listen to a lot of that kind of music, especially like the more modern stuff.
Okay.
With funk, electric, stuff like that.
Very cool. So Owen, now you mentioned that you joined this year as a freshman, but prior to that, you had joined the Merton Williams jazz band, correct?
Yeah.
All right, very cool. And now where did you go to elementary school?
I went to Village Elementary.
Village Elementary. So was there someone at Village Elementary who kind of hooked you into becoming a musician?
Yeah, Miss Fabrizio, she was my music teacher from 4th to 6th, and then when COVID hit, I almost felt like quitting, like
sure.
it was about to be time where I'm just gonna bring in my saxophone and say it's done. But then she started online lessons, and I got a lot out of that, and it made it more fun because then you could just play whenever, and you can talk to your teacher from outside of school, and you can learn more. Like I also had private lessons over the summer too, and that just opened up for me to do more things with it, and that's what kept it on.
Oh, cool. Now you have you've got to practice a lot, right? Like with anything in life, if you want to be really great at something, you have to put the time in.
Yeah.
So how much time do you practice?
Honestly, it can range. Like sometimes I can go a whole week and maybe only practice 5 hours, but then sometimes I could be practicing maybe like 2 hours a day.
Great. Luke, how about you? Do you put a lot of practice time in?
Yeah. Ideally, I spend 2 hours on the violin a day, and jazz around an hour a day or more.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's depending on the season. It gets pretty busy during like basketball season.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you play basketball. I come to some of the games and watch. Now, so what time do you wake up to get all that in a regular day? Because I know it's very demanding.
6:30, get ready to get changed, drive to school. Not really
All right.
much of a morning routine.
So do you have a piano at home that you practice on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Very interesting. So why is this such a special group, Owen?
I just like the dedication from every single student. I mean, it's different from other groups where like other groups you'll have a couple of people who really want to be there and just practice their butts off, but then this group, everybody in the group is on the focus, everybody is playing to their best ability, and it's just great.
That is cool. When you know that so many people are working towards the same goal and that they're taking it seriously, it makes you work harder too, right? Because you want to be a part of that. And you can have an influence on another musician because you're working so hard. So that's great. Thanks for sharing that. Now, Luke, what makes the group special for you?
I think I really like the pieces we play, and I think Mr. Strike does a really good job of picking the pieces and getting us up to concert shape. I feel like out of the high schools I've seen in the area, we tend to have like some of the most like prepared concerts. Like we're always like, I don't know, I just feel like we're always ready to go. So I like just playing with a really high quality group. And performances like this one, the Evening of Jazz, also later in the year, the International Jazz Fest. Mm-hmm. It's just like really good opportunities that are, I think, unique to Hilton.
So Luke, tell us a little bit about the guest artists for this year.
Yeah, so this is a really high-level group. It's called the Dave Weckl Tom Kennedy Project. A lot of the, it's a 4-piece group, so bass, drums, piano, saxophone. So it's Dave Weckl, Tom Kennedy, Stu Meineman, and Eric Marienthal. And yeah, a lot of members from the original Chick Corea band. So yeah, I really look forward to it.
That's great. Owen, have you heard their music before them coming?
I've heard a lot of Eric Marienthal before. It was actually somebody who I've looked up to because I've saw him come to the school before in a previous year. And just an amazing saxophone player. I mean, he can do a lot of things like soloing over chord changes. That is just unbelievable.
Now, you guys both talked about kind of this liking of that funk sound. Is this group, do they play some funky stuff, I should say?
Yeah, it's a few. They're like fusion a little bit.
So for the viewer, talk more about
Yeah.
what fusion is, because someone who may not be a musician might not understand the lingo.
It's how do I describe it? It's like a mix of like a lot of different genres. Like there's a little bit of like dubstep and funk and like there's like a lot of different influence, but it's usually like up tempo, like really high energy. Yeah, and so Eric Marienthal, and he's came to our high school before, is also in a really famous big band called Gordon Goodwin Band, which is a huge, like, probably one of the most popular funk bands in the world. So yeah, they're just really
Great. I know
Yeah.
because I think some people have that perception that jazz is all that big band and a lot of brass. But as I learn more about it, and you guys are educating me and the viewers, sometimes you have more of that funk feel too, getting into the bass guitar and some of those
Yeah.
things, right? So, great. So tell me both. You both play a little bit of keyboard or a lot of bit of keyboard. Tell me your thoughts on how that overlays in the whole approach of playing jazz. Is that something that it can be a main focus within some of the pieces you play? Is it supplemental? School me on that.
Well, I feel like it adds a lot of weight to the music. Like, if you're sometimes playing with a group, like I played with other groups where they don't have a keyboard, and it seems not as dense. So the keyboard just adds the background to it.
All right, so kind of a richer sound when you have the keyboard versus not having the keyboard. So that's really great that we're able to have all the different instruments. Can you name some of the other instruments in your guys' ensemble?
There's trombones, trumpets, we got drum set, and then we have auxiliary in the back, and then we have a set of saxophones, 2 tenors, 2 altos, bari saxophone, and then keyboard, and then usually bands will have a bass player, but we have a bass player on keyboard.
Okay, awesome, very good. Luke, talk to me a little bit about your preparation for the evening of jazz, and how is it a bit different than your typical concert rehearsal?
Well, we have a lot of time to work with the artists. They come in Wednesday or Thursday, and we have a master class with them in the morning and a clinic with them later that day. So we get a lot of feedback from them, which really helps our playing as a group, but also they can give feedback on our solos in general, which is really helpful. And just being able to try a lot of new things to make it sound as best as we can.
Great. Owen, can you tell me a little bit about your schedule and how your responsibilities and opportunities all fit in together? Because we talked a little earlier about the amount of rehearsal that you put in. What are other things that you're interested in outside of jazz and being a musician?
Yeah, I mean, most of my life is music. I mean, I start off school with jazz and wind ensemble, and then throughout the day it's more heavy on school, but then after that I'll usually go home. I like to play a lot of football, and then after that I have marching band and drumline rehearsals throughout the night, and then go to bed and restart.
Yeah, wow, that's a lot of stuff. So being in the marching band as well, that's really cool. And we just had a couple of the marching band members on a couple cadet chats ago, and even talking about maybe this concept of having a pep band as well. That was kind of an idea that they brought to the school district. Yeah. So it might be another different way to have some fun and play. So very cool. So you're a busy guy. I'm impressed with your management. So, and we were talking about favorite football teams, and clearly you're a Falcons fan, right?
Yeah.
All right. And before we got on camera, we we're talking a little bit about the Super Bowl. And who's your pick for the Super Bowl?
I think the Eagles.
You think the Eagles? All right, I'll go with that too, absolutely. So, Luke, you talked a little bit about some of your other activities that you're involved with. What are those? There's basketball. You're playing the keyboard. You are also good at some other things. What are those?
Yeah, in addition to piano, I also play violin on the basketball team here at Hilton. Yeah, so I'm involved in obviously lessons, chamber group, a big band at Eastman, and basketball, and just training and practices. So I'm pretty busy.
Yeah, absolutely. So you get up real early. Any tricks to younger students on how to manage a schedule that has so many responsibilities and requirements in it?
Thankfully, my mom is really good at organization. So that helps a lot. But recently I've been starting to use my calendar a little bit more on my phone. So that's actually surprisingly helped. But yeah, I've kind of got into a routine where I just every day I get home, I practice violin for 2 hours, try to get in my hour of piano, go to practice, come home, homework. It's a lot, but I do have a lot of help from my parents for sure.
That's great. Yeah, no, definitely. I think having support from family is extremely important when you guys are looking to do all these great things. So we'll go to Owen. Owen, do you have a message to the folks that are watching? Anything important that you'd like to share with them about the music department here at Hilton or the upcoming Evening of Jazz?
I feel like the music department is very good at this school. I feel like we're the highest out of like any other school. If you look at the things that we do here, it's really incredible. I mean, we have jazz, of course, Evening of Jazz coming up, being able to get these wonderful artists to come into town and to play with us. And then we also have the other aspect of things like Drumline, where we can go to Worlds certain years, and we've actually won like Worlds over the whole country, and we've actually placed first.
You know what's cool? I love when I drive in. I live in Hilton, but when I'm driving away and I come back, I always love seeing the sign that celebrates those accomplishments. Like that's top notch, and that's one of the many things that make this community such a special place. So something I love the pride when you speak about what you're doing. I love the fact that you have such great pride in what you're accomplishing and what you're doing. So that's awesome. So Luke, you're headed out. You're going to be leaving Hilton next year, as much as you may want to stay or not stay. So what's some advice that you have for some of our younger musicians, whether they're elementary students or Merton Williams students? What would you share with them if they were here?
Obviously, practice a lot. I've been blessed to have like really good teachers that have really helped me a lot, but try to spend as much time as you can making connections with other people. Some of the times what I've learned the most is from other students, not just at Hilton, but like traveling to international music festivals, stuff like that. But also don't forget to spend time with people here outside of music. That's also what has shaped me a lot, just being like well-rounded and being part of the basketball team. And some of my best friends are on the basketball team, and I try to go to all the football games. So just really embracing everything I can.
So who? It doesn't have to be one, but who's inspired you? Who have been some of the inspirations for you, just as a person?
Probably I would say in my life one of my biggest inspirations is my uncle. He doesn't live here, but he's been battling cancer for 10 years, and he's always like super positive, outgoing, fun, faithful, and I just really inspire to be like him.
That's great. That's great. So next chapter for you, when you leave Hilton, we kind of started the question off this way. What are your plans after graduation?
Yeah, so I'm going to double major in classical violin performance and jazz piano performance. Currently in the middle of audition process, so I don't know exactly where I'll end up. But
where are you auditioning, if you don't mind?
Sure.
Everywhere?
No, 4 places.
Okay.
Cincinnati Conservatory of Music within University of Cincinnati, University of Michigan, Eastman, which is here, and New England Conservatory in Boston.
Great.
So yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations and best wishes
Thank
on
you.
that. So Owen, I know it's only 9th grade, right? So we don't want to wish time away. But if I asked you today about the future, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to do in the future?
I know I definitely want to do something with music. Now I'm just sort of trying to figure out what it is that I want to do with music. I mean, there's many different books that you can open when it comes to music. You can go, oh, percussion. Oh, I want to do more of music performance with my own instrument. Or, oh, I want to go teaching music. You just never know.
All right. Yeah, there are so many professions connected to the performing arts, especially music. So that's great that you want to do something in that genre. So that's great. Just as we close out this interview, and you guys have been great, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience about anything as far as the Evening of Jazz, your time here in Hilton?
First of all, thank you for this opportunity to have us on here. Second, I would just say everyone should come to Evening of Jazz. You can get tickets online at Showtix for You. Limited seating, so get your tickets as soon as you can. And they're just really amazing artists, and we'll try to put on a show, so you don't want to miss out.
So once again, just closing out this episode of Cadet Chat, I want to thank Owen Hunsinger, Luke Pisani on just an absolutely awesome opportunity to learn more about the Evening of Jazz and to learn more about them as students here in the Hilton Central School District. So thanks for watching and have a great day.